I would like to ask the colleagues from Ovenhausen to present their journey towards a smart village, and I hand over to you. Please, could you go on?
Anke, are you having the film at hand?
Yes. First, I would like, maybe because we didn't have the time to make a card or a map like you did for Lorm, so I would like to show you first where Ovenhausen is located. I made a very small presentation. I hope you see it. Just wait a minute.
Yeah.
Go to the first slide.
We see Germany.
Yeah. We see Germany, and this is you know that Germany is divided in the Länder, and we are in North Rhine-Westphalia. It is where you can find the orange thing. Here is North Rhine-Westphalia, and if we zoom in North Rhine-Westphalia, then you can see the orange point, and this is where Ovenhausen is located.
And as you see, it's very far away from the cities, you know, Düsseldorf, Cologne, and others. So we are very rural, a rural district, and with very specialties. So the next largest city is Hanover, or maybe Kassel, which is, I suppose, not very well known.
No, but it's you can see that it's between Cologne and Berlin.
Yes.
Yeah. It's right in the middle from Berlin.
That's what I said,
Berlin
right in the
Cologne.
heart of Germany.
Okay, and then I will start the film, which is showing you or giving you an impression about Ovenhausen.
Yeah.
So,
But you reach Ovenhausen over the R1. It's a bicycle track from Calais to Kaliningrad in Russia. So.
Okay. So.
And we now have a big flower show, which is called Landesgartenschau. And a lot of visitors now coming to our district from April to October. And we are a little bit sorry because the weather is not as nice as we hoped. And people are experiencing a lot of cold and rain. But I think it will be better when the summer comes.
Okay, but this film, I think it's
Yes.
it's at the end of summer, I think, and I will start it, and hopefully we will have, we can hear the music as well. I will start it, okay?
It's a kind of first impression report to Ovenhausen.
Okay.
Thanks.
We don't hear the music, but that's not so important, to be honest.
Okay, then we hear it without music because it will take some time to mute it, I think, to unmute it.
This is an overview, and we reach Ovenhausen on the R1. This is a bicycle track from Calais in France through North Rhine-Westphalia, Berlin, Poland, up to Russia. More than the short map view, more than 1,200 kilometers long. And this is a group which now reaching our new Dorf center.
As you can see, we have a lot of good bicycle routes, and also, yeah, if you like to take a walk, we have fantastic, yeah, routes that you can take with a lot of excitement points that you can visit.
And it's a new, we built it last year with Bull, chess, something like this. And this is all in parish, country or parish facilities.
Ovenhausen has right now around about 60 refugees, mostly coming from the Ukraine and from Syria, which is also a voluntary job of the Caritas, which belongs to the church. And they are pretty well involved in the community life.
And this is a pilgrim route to our chapel on the so-called Heidrun. And this is a part of our digital improvement. You can open the door and you can see a film from the chapel. And the last view. And a short overview what we got the last years.
The prizes you got. Mm-hmm.
There are many.
Okay, I stop it.
Thank you.
So I'm going to try if I'm. Can you see my presentation? Okay, perfect. Fine. I'm sorry, my English is not as fluent as I wish it could be, but I'm doing my very best. So Hans Werner is giving all the details about the lighthouse example Ovenhausen. I'm going to give you a little bit more of the context because we are very proud to have Ovenhausen, which is not a lighthouse in the EU, but also in Germany and in the district Höxter, but I'm also representing 29 other villages which are taking part in our projects. So coming to myself, I'm here since 2016 and I work before many years in Berlin where I still live. So I switch between the big city and the countryside, which I think it's a great advantage if you can handle people and locations in both areas. Berlin is much faster. Here people are more friendly and they care about their communities, but we also have voluntary work in Berlin. So I think both locations can profit from one another. So Hans Werner, you can just pop in if you have something to say about Ovenhausen. The slides I'm going to show, they are always talking about Ovenhausen and the other 29 villages. So don't think I'm giving a project report. This is the story of Ovenhausen, which is taking part on our project since 2016. So now almost 6 years, which is a lot of months and a lot of years.
Yeah, and we are embedded in this system of the projects from the European Union. And at first glance, Ovenhausen is certainly a village like many others, because we have already suffered the same fate. The school is closed now with refugees, and the pastor had been transferred, and the banks and the credit institutes have given up their branches. So we suffered the same consequences and as the demographic change, but we trying to counteract this a little bit, so that in the recent years our inhabitants with perhaps we started for 20 years with 1,300. Nowadays we have 1,050, but this is a continuous number. But we remained optimistic, and despite of these losses of infrastructure, and we have not given up ourselves in ourselves, and this is the key for our future, I think. We are a relative active community with 14 associations, and we work well together, and we try to realize a number. We try to realize, and we have realized a number of projects together, especially in the last years. Heidrun, next slide on.
Yeah, I wanted to stress and show the photo, which is one of our central mission, that we are not promoting technical tools. we are promoting community matters, participation, and neighborhood help. So working closely together, strengthening the community, this is our real goal. Digital tools are just a way of making the communities ready for the future, makes them resilient. So this is important to understand. We are not promoting any digital solutions. So it's critical to understand that we have several digital projects that were starting 2016. So with 16 villages in 2 districts, and they were testing digital services and solutions. And I'm coming back to this origin. Then we had a project for strengthening digital competence of the inhabitants of our villages. Then we started Dorf Zukunft Digital, which is a rollout of smart countryside. So we are including more and more villages. And in 2025, we're gonna have all villages, all 120 villages in Höxter, hopefully included in our project. Then we had a small project called digital storytelling. And then after that, we started the project, the health project, Dorf Gesundheit Digital, where it's all about testing digital health services and solutions. And to make a long story short, Ovenhausen is participating in all of those projects, which is amazing. This is why they are a lighthouse. So our mission is shaping the future of the countryside, of course. So we want to strengthening services of general interest, life quality, like I said, neighborhood help, and the participation of different groups in the community. And we want to enabling village communities to test voluntary, and this is very important, it's all voluntary and need-based digital services and solutions. And they want them to strengthen their digital knowledge and competences. We try to encourage the village communities to network, cooperate and collaborate as often as possible, not only within their own district, but nationwide. And we encourage village communities to open up, to be a role model and a testimonial for other rural communities. For example, in other regions, we know that over 50 smart villages are now going their way after they have been consulted by us. So we are very proud of this success. And this is one of the most important points. We encourage village communities to take responsibility and to strengthen their resilience. This is a very strong point that we try to make them independent from us. We just there to give a start help and to be there to follow certain processes, for example, to bring the money, to bring the administration, to bring impulses, ideas, but the work, the voluntary work, has to do the community. And so we are very proud that we have 30 communities which are very independent and strong and active in these projects. So how it all started, this is, I think, important to know. We are going back to 2016. And this is important to understand. So at that time, we didn't have any internet at the countryside, and there was a lot of problems. Everybody wanted to go to the city. There was no working opportunities, and people had the feeling that the countryside is dying almost. So we were one of the first innovative digital projects for village communities in Germany. And what is important to understand, we have a strict bottom-up process, which means we have had at that time 26 participating villages, and they had meetings and they discussed and decide what they need and what they want. So it wasn't us to give us the impulse and the input. It was only the village communities. And what we did was we made village tours to get to know the community, to see the differences between the villages, like Lutz already mentioned. They are very diverse and differ a lot. So it was important to have a certain knowledge about the people living in those 30 or 26 village communities. And we were presenting the pro and cons and discussing them. Digitalization is not only an enthusiastic thing. People had a lot of anxiety and questions and didn't want to be ruled by technical tools. So this was a great process, a lot of participation, because we reached over 30% of the village community, which came to these meetings. And so this was a big discussion. So what kind of ideas do we have? What kind of digital services and solutions do we want to test? And also we ask, so what are you what do you want to learn? What kind of digital training do you want? And so we got a long list of issues and themes, and we started to find trainers who are ready to work with people from villages, which is mostly a different type of training than if you have like a training for a company or for company people. So, and
we gained the call for papers in 2016, and we sat together with 8 or 10 persons in our village, and we tried to work out some aspects which are very important for us, and the most important aspects for a caring village with a role of the Roman Catholic Church, and this is my part. Letztendlich, I'm the chairman of the Roman Catholic Church in Ovenhausen, and we tried. And when you look on our website, you will see that this website is provided by the Roman Catholic Church and my person. And this is as a main effort, it was to concentrate on the church app and on the Dorf app, we call it now. And this was a kind of success for our application of the widget in this project. And we trained it in village conferences and training events, and afterwards we were successful with this in this project, and we are very proud of this, that we reached from 2016 up to now in several steps up to this state we have now.
Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things in the beginning, where we are looking for new villages, to find the 2 to 10 people, the most active people, which are willing to participate and to invest a lot of time voluntarily into the project, and to be testimonials for others and to motivate others in the community. And I think it's very important to become a lighthouse, that you accept your success story, and you you not only tell it to other people in the village, but you invite the press, you make public relation, and Ovenhausen is here a very good role model, because whenever we get a call, we get a invitation. We were traveling to that country, to that association, to Berlin, to present our experiences and success factors. So this is a photo of one of our events that we were organizing back then. It was a community meeting, around about 70 participants. And the key question was, can we use digital solutions and services in church? And it was kind of fun because there was a lot of controversial discussion, but we learned that the churches already have social media managers engaged, which is back then, I think, a big step into the future. So you are, I think, very curious. So what kind of digital solutions and services has been tested since then? So at first, all participating villages agreed upon that they wanted to have a digital village platform, which is on one hand a website that the community is developing itself for information about what's going on in the village. And it's linked to a village app, which allows real-time communication wherever you are. So if you are on vacation, if you are on a business trip, if you are studying in a bigger city, if you are not living anymore in the village, you can get any information just in time, what's going on in the village. For example, there was a big tunnel going to Ovenhausen with a lot of destruction, and right away there was photos uploaded, there was a helper group, there were help from other villages which are coming and which being informed through this app. So this is a great advantage. I mean, communication was always possible when you meet, for example, in the bakery or in the community center, but most of the stores are closed at that time. And for Corona time, it wasn't possible to meet in the community center. It was closed. So it was great to have a digital platform for information and communication. And it will now be edited digital info board. It can be located, for example, in the church, but it could also be an outside info terminal. So the caring platform is an original idea coming from Ovenhausen. And the question was, if we don't meet all the people that need help anymore, and Corona is making it very difficult to meet personally. So how do we know who's in need for help and support? And so we managed to support a startup, which is called, it doesn't matter. So it's a health and a health app, which offers not only addresses from hospitals, from doctors, from pharmacies, from retirement homes, but also it gives a lot of additional information about, for example, about Corona. You can download a lot of formulas, and there's also entertaining tools such as games and videos, and so it's a great thing, and we have a close cooperation with them. And you can open the app either over smartphone or over the website, which is great because not the elderly people often don't have smartphone. Then we tested the digital help call. It's not so easy for people in the village to call for help, but we have a system where you can get neighborhood help within 10 minutes. We're not talking about medical help in an emergency. We're talking about, I do not find my glasses, I need help to pick something up from the shelf. I'm scared because there's maybe a thunderstorm, things like that. So we also have a meeting point for health services. So people from the community can come and test and train digital health services such as HR glasses or smartwatches or certain apps, and we trained people to help them to get to know how to handle those apps and tools. So also we delivered IT equipment and internet for the community center, which is quite important. And I think the participating villages are quite proud to have such a good standard. We call them digital classrooms, and we see here the old school, which looks like old-fashioned, but we see they now have a set of tablets, notebooks, printer, smart TV, whiteboard, so that they can use for not only training, but also for celebrations, for film events, for gaming events for the youth. You can use it for everything.
We decided last week to give it to our refugees, part of it.
Yeah. Then Hans Werner was already talking about the church platform, which is quite amazing. You can not only can look after services, pastoral care, you can also have views and photos from churches, from outside and the inside. You have the calendar with the different important appointments, and also pilgrimage, also the routes for pilgrims that are going through Ovenhausen, which is part of the, wie heißt der Pilgerweg?
Jakobspilger.
Yeah, Jakobspilgerweg, you might know. So training of the digital skills is one of the core or key factors of our projects. And we ask the people in the community meetings, what do you want to learn? And so there come up issues like how to do online shopping, data protection, online banking, how to use a camera, a digital camera. If I'm going to apply for a new job, how can I make it digital? And things like that. And it wasn't easy to find a trainer who have such a broad experience and knowledge. But in the end, from the 160 inhabitants from 16 villages, more than 130 ended up the education, and they are now digital experts in their village, and they can also train the other citizens, which is great to have testimonials. Then one of our small project was, you know, that some of the villages are older than 1,000 years old, and so they have a large and a wide history. And normally you only have numbers and dates, and it's quite dry. And the younger people want to have more media-oriented information. So what you can do now is we delivered a camcorder and some tutorials. So you can now meet in the community center, invite elderly people. They come with a photo or with old postcards, and they tell their story. And now it's possible to bring this into the digital timeline. And it's quite interesting for the younger people to see how history can be, you know what I mean, can live in a different way. So then we have a welcome platform. We have a lot of new people coming to the villages. Some of them were just away for studying or for a job offer, but some of them are coming from the city, especially after the Corona pandemic. And we have a certain welcome service. So for new community members, so a lot of questions. Where can I meet people that are doing yoga? What is about if I need some help with administration and things like that. So I think it's very important because most of the new people in town are living not in the center of the village. They have their own house a little bit far away. And so it's very important to make offers to them to include them into the village community. And one of our great projects were smart home technology for town halls. So the people in charge don't have to come every time when there's an interested group who wants to do an event, to drive to the hall and to switch up the lights and switch up the heating system, and everything can be done now with a tablet. And also the costs can be controlled, so that is very efficient for the villages.
Okay.
So here we see not only Hans Werner, but the head of Germany of the Caritas, and two very engaged and active citizens from Ovenhausen, which are also working for the Caritas, and me. And this is only an example. We were at the Grüne Woche, which is a large fair in Germany, and we're presenting our concept of the caring community. And I think this is a very important to leave your village, be a part of the world, express what you do, and tell the story, the success stories to others, to let them know what you experienced. So I'm coming now to the end. Maybe you are interested in the conclusions and the lessons learned so far and our recommendations. Something that we learned is that the village communities really need professional support from project managers, but the agreements between administration and the village communities must be absolutely reliable to develop a good relationship with each other. Then we would also always suggest to choose a bottom-up process to really activate village communities, that they shape their own future. And the first step is to find the right people who've been already active and who are willing to go with you and who understand your concept and the idea that you have, and to encourage, and who are willing to encourage other people in the village. And all projects are coming to an end at a certain point of time, mostly 3 years. And it's very important to have at an early stage a concept, a plan, and the money. So everybody's asking you when there is half of the time is over. So what's going to happen in the end? Are we being left alone? So who's responsible? Who's paying for the testing of the digital services or for the internet? And this there you need to have real clear answers. And so it's good to have a concept and in the money to have follow-up projects. Then the district Höxter has since 2020 a digital strategy, so a digital agenda. And this was also influenced by the needs of the villages, which is very important to bring up their needs and their concerns into district agendas. Then, and the other speaker just pointed it out, it's very important to have as many spaces as possible for testing and training, which are not controlled by the administration, where the village can decide themselves what they're going to do and how they're going to make it. And as I mentioned before, it's good to be a role model and testimonial for others.